Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Courtroom. We're on DTT because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, NDC incensed by a directive by the EC to its officials not to allow any political party agent monitor the voter transfer exercise.
Did successfully on the 29th.
This directive is not found in any electoral law, not found in CI 91 as amended by CI 126, not found in CI 127. It's not found in any electoral law.
We'll take you live to an emergency meeting by the IPAC shortly. Also this afternoon, an Accra High Court gives parties in the ongoing anti-LGBTQI+ case 4 weeks to file written submissions for a determination. We have details of the court proceedings shortly. Plus, today marks 9 years since the fatal June 3 disaster which claimed the lives of 154 Ghanaians. We'll bring you the story of the Odona pedestrian market organizer who recounts how he miraculously missed being burnt by the fire and flood that killed over 100 people at Circle on that fateful day. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and X Spaces at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. Please do stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. Let's begin with the Bank of Ghana, which spent 675.4 million Ghana cedis to print currencies in 2023. According to its 2023 annual report and financial statement, this is a 107.4% increase over the 325.64 million cedis recorded in 2022. The report also said the central bank spent 7.32 million cedis in 2023 on other currency management operations as against 6.54 million in 2022. Agency fees stood at 6.136 million in 2023 as against 4.75 million cedis the previous year. This puts the total currency issue expense in 2023 at 688.8 million cedis. Now, I've been joined by Professor Peter Korte for more on this. I'm grateful for your time, sir. 107.4% increase in the cost of printing currencies compared to 325.64 million recorded in 2022. How does this come across to you, Prof?
Well, I think if you go behind the scenes and try to unpack what has caused this, then perhaps we would appreciate it better. The bank has a policy of recent policy trying to issue clean notes. I mean, we don't want to see dirty notes as individuals or Ghanaians. We would like to keep clean notes as much as possible. So the bank tries to take some of the old notes out and print in new notes. You'll also notice from the report that some of the higher denominated notes, more of that have been printed. The 200 cedi notes, for instance, you could see an increase from 12.37 billion to from 9.8 billion to 12.737 billion. It tells you such a significant increase. So as more of these notes are printed, it comes with a cost. Of course, the 107, we also have to net out inflation. If we take the nominal figures, we might think there's a quantum jump, but when we net out inflation, that would also explain some of this. Then, of course, the demand for cash. If you look at the economy, we continue to use cash instead of using the banking system. And that also explains why if there's an increase in demand for cash, we'll certainly the bank will certainly be incurring more cost. And that for me points us to one direction, the e-currency that the Bank of Ghana is championing. That is something that we should push for. We should also push for more digitalized means of payment. So I support the Vice President's call to even scrap e-levy or reduce it to the barest minimum. Because as we touch e-levy, people will continue to use more cash, will spend more money trying to print notes, and that does not augur well for our country. So I think these are some of the reasons why we are seeing such an increase.
Well, aside cutting down on the taxes on e-levy, what else? Because we know that the Bank of Ghana has been struggling to at least keep the cedi from falling further. What more can they do to ensure that the cost of printing, for instance, and the cost of reducing inflation is reduced in our current economic crisis?
Of course, the open market operations trying to mop up excess liquidity also comes with a cost, but that's one way by which they can keep inflation to the barest minimum. When inflation is high, people try to engage in currency movements, try to hold foreign currencies, etc., and that does not go well for us. I think the bank can also educate people on how to handle cash. We've seen in the past some attempt to educate the populace, but they need to handle cash properly. Sometimes the way we handle cash is just not proper, and that increases the cost of printing more fresh notes into the system. I've seen recent introduction of more higher denominated coins, or in an attempt to reduce the handling of paper notes. But if you look at Britain, for instance, the type of notes they are using, it's a bit of fiber, and that will take quite a long time for it to be soiled or destroyed. I think we should gradually move towards that kind of e-paper or that kind of paper currency, whilst we push the e-currency and also push for digitalization.
I'm grateful for your time. Professor Peter Korte is an economist and director of Ether. Let's get on to other stories. The opposition NDC is incensed about a directive set to be given by the Electoral Commission to its officials at the voter transfer centers not to allow any party agent to monitor the exercise. The NDC claims they have not been consulted. Moreover, the directive is not grounded in law, hence they won't allow it. Dr. Mane Boama, who raised this alarm, said the action of the EC is suspicious and the aims of compromising the elections. He has warned his agents to be firm and resist the attempt by the EC to compromise the election process.
So basically, we came here to talk to this gentleman who is working for the Electoral Commission of Ghana. He says that he has received a memo from the Electoral Commission, which memo says he shouldn't allow agents of political parties to observe the transfer process. This directive is not found in any electoral law, not found in CI 91 as amended by CI 126, not found in CI 127. It's not found in any electoral law. So why would they be implementing a directive? And how he's turned his eye, he's going to break his neck. Focus your camera on him. He's going to break his neck. If he has nothing to hide, he should turn and face the camera. So I told him that if you are ready to implement this, then it means that if the EC directs you to cheat for the MPP, you will. Because what you are implementing frowns upon transparency. Transparency is part of the EC's own self-acclaimed attributes. So if the EC will issue a directive that frowns on transparency,
we'll be getting more from IPAC shortly because there's an emergency meeting with the Electoral Commission, and we'll be sharing that statement from the Electoral Commission that is incensing the NDC with you shortly. Right now, let's go to the Accra High Court that has given parties in the ongoing anti-LGBTQI case of Mr. Paul Boama versus the Speaker of Parliament and another 4 weeks to file their written submissions to support their arguments before a determination is made made on July 29. Mr. Boama Sefa, a former farmer in the Ashanti region, is praying the Supreme Court to stop the passage of the bill, a bill which has since been passed into an act waiting for presidential approval to make it law.
So you call yours to, upon being served within 4 weeks, file it, meaning it's going to take us beyond July. But I want us to come before the end of July to ensure that at least the plaintiff has filed this. Then we can be guided. The next date will be for a determination by the court. So can we come back on the 29th of July?
That's fine. I didn't understand. Are we to file by 29th or?
I said 4 weeks upon service. You have 4 weeks within which to file. If by 29th all of you have filed, I can give you a date for a determination. But at least by 29th they should have filed because they are supposed to file by the 4th of July. Hopefully you are just here. Late you are just here. So maybe if you file early, they can be served on the same day or the day after. So I'm hoping that by 29th all parties would have filed, then I can give you a date. If I am a vacation, then I can come during the vacation for the court's judgment. But on the 27th, it's for mention. 29th of July.
Court rights. The court has since adjourned. We'll be bringing Latif Idris, who's been monitoring the situation at the Accra High Court for us. He'll be telling us more from the ground. But right now, let's go to the Electoral Commission, where my colleague Samuel Mbura of our political desk is there for the emerging issues. Mbura, how is the situation at the EC's Voter Transfer Center, where the EC has given this directive?
Well, I must say a couple of minutes ago, there was chaos in there because there were reports of attempts by the security personnel, that's the police, to let some of the people who are around here to transfer their votes to skip the queue. So they were not quite happy about it, but the calm has been restored and the exercise is moving on smoothly. So at the EC office here at Rage, we have the Ayawaso West, Central and East, as well as the Kwale Klote constituencies having their exercise underway here. So for now, I must say the exercise is moving on smoothly, but minus the political party agents monitoring the exercise. You know, before, the political party agents would have to be there to ensure that the person coming to transfer the vote actually resides or has any connection with the constituency. But the EC is saying that this is actually causing chaos and it should not be allowed. They communicated this in a statement, and that was actually distributed to their regional directors and communicated to their officers. However, the NDC claims that they are not aware of this particular memo directing that political party agents should not be part of the monitoring exercise, and they think that it is arbitrary, it is unconstitutional, and a suspicious move by the EC to compromise the election. So going into the IPAC meeting, Dr. Manibuama, who is in charge of the research and elections of the NDC, they are going to oppose vehemently against this thing because they think that this is not the norm, it is not the status quo, and they don't want them to depart from it. But I am fortunate to have cited this letter from the EC communicating to its regional director and officers not to allow, in which the NDC says they don't. And this letter was actually written on the 2nd of June 2024. with the subject, agents of political parties should not be allowed to observe the transfer of votes exercise. In this particular memo, the EC says its attention has been drawn to the violent clashes occurring at some of the district offices as a result of the transfer of voters exercise. We know earlier in our bulletin we reported about the fact that there was a chaotic situation in Kaswa over the weekend where a reported son of Hawa Kumsin, the MP for Ewutu Senya, was reportedly stabbed, with scores of other people being injured after NDC and MPP clashed over the transfer of voter exercise. So that is what basically the IPAC meeting is addressing, and it is currently underway. But the various political parties are quite clear with their decision, especially the NDC. They said they are going to reject it and oppose it. Dr. Omane Boama, whom I spoke to earlier, actually directed his agents that they should stand firm and not allow the EC officials compromise the exercise, but they should do that in tandem with the law.
Alumbura there at the IPAC meeting supposed to address some emergency matters. We'll definitely get more of this from the IPAC meeting, which is currently underway in our subsequent bulletins. But let me share the statement from the Electoral Commission that has brought about this confusion that has incensed the NDC. It says the Commission's attention has been drawn to the violent clashes occurring at some of the district offices as a result of the transfer of votes exercise. Regional directors are to inform district officers not to allow agents of political parties to observe the transfer of votes exercise with effect from tomorrow, Monday, that is today, June 3, pursuant to Regulation 22.8 of CI 127. Returning officers are required to give copies of the transferred voters list to political parties and candidates upon request. District officers should ensure that they strictly adhere to this requirement. And it says kindly treat as urgent. We'll bring you more of this on Election Brief at 2 p.m. Now, let's go back to the Accra High Court that has given parties in the ongoing anti-LGBTQ case of Mr. Paul Boama Sefa versus the Speaker of Parliament and another 4 weeks to file their written submissions to support their arguments before the determination is made on July 29. I've been joined in the studio by Latif Idris, who's been at the Accra High Court this morning to observe proceedings. What more, Latif, can you report from the proceedings? Okay, so maybe we should start from the historic nature of this case. The fact that for the first time... A little background to the case. Yeah, for the first time in the history of this republic, cameras were allowed in the courtroom to give us live coverage of proceedings. It has never happened in the history of this country. We know about the Supreme Court with the electoral election petition and then the LGBTQ, but for the first time in the High Court in Ghana, cameras were allowed in there. Substantively, what transpired in court today is the fact that the sitting judge, Ellen Mereku, she conferred with the lawyers for the parties. The parties here, we are talking about the Attorney General, the Speaker of Parliament, and then the plaintiff, who was also in court. She conferred with them on the dates for parties to submit their written submissions. And from the body language and the reaction you got, you could tell that the parties had already agreed on a set date. So when the judge came up with the 28th of July, all three of them accepted the date. What is different is that the plaintiff has up until July 4th to file his written submission and serve the Attorney General and then the Speaker of Parliament. The Attorney General and the Speaker of Parliament have up until July the 28th. That is the day the court is expected to make a determination on the substantive matter. So the AG and the Speaker of Parliament have like 4 weeks from the day they are served by the plaintiff to submit their own written submissions, and then on the 28th of July, the court will make a determination on the matter. Okay, so the next sitting will be July 29, right? 28. July 28. Yeah. Is it 28 or 29? July. It's July 29, I think.
July 29.
Latif Idris, who's been monitoring this from the High Court for us. Thank you for bringing us that update. Let's get on to other stories. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, the PURC, is warning the cost of electricity and water will continue to rise unless government fixes the depreciation of the cedi against the major trading currencies and the rising cost of fuel. The PURC announced an increase in water and electricity tariffs for the second quarter of 2024, effective from July 1 to September 2024. According to the Commission, electricity lifeline consumers will see a 3.45 increase for the same consumption level as in the first quarter. Other residential electricity consumers above the lifeline bracket will experience a 5.84 increase, while industrial users will face a 4.92% rise. Water tariffs will increase by 5.16% for all customer classes during this period. The Commission explained that the upward revision is primarily due to the depreciation of the cedi, which has lost about 20.8% of its value between the first and second quarters of the year, and a 5.23 increase in the cost of fuel, particularly natural gas. And this is how it looks like. If you look at the percentage increment for water and electricity, you have the consumer group lifeline 3.45% increase, electricity above lifeline 5.84%, industry 4.92%, water, all of them are going to be increased by 5.16%. And it says it's giving you the reason to be the depreciation of the cedi by 20.8% between the quarter 1 and quarter 2 of the year, an increment in cost of natural gas by 5.23%. You also see that in quarter 1, the revenue target was 5.67 billion, whilst quarter 2, you had 6.81 billion, and it's now been revised to 5.9 billion to be recovered from subsequent quarters, now gives you 906.21 million. And that's the explanation the PURC is giving for the increment. I've been joined by Peter Tekpe. He's a policy analyst for more on this. Grateful for your time, Mr. Tekpe. The cost of electricity and water keep going up, yet the quality of service is not felt by the consumer. Do you agree that the consumer is not being treated fairly?
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, the consumer is not being treated fairly with regards to what is happening, especially what we are experiencing in the electricity supply and also water as well. You realize that most households do not have access to, water especially. And so definitely it's a cause for concern. Electricity also, there has been no stable, supply for some time now. And it is also causing a lot of challenge for businesses especially. And so if in the midst of all this, you are still increasing it, of course, definitely it's a cause for concern for the customer.
How do we strike the balance? Because, of course, if you listen to the PURC, they say this has become necessary because of the depreciating cedi and other factors. So how do we strike a balance? Give consumers value for money, whilst you also ensure that your cost of production is passed on to the consumer?
Well, even though the depreciation of the currency is a factor, for me, it is not necessarily the case. The reason is that the rate that the PRC uses is not the normal rate where we are experiencing now, where they are using rate is currently above 15, that the PRC actually uses a rate below that. Even though when it's going up, it's a cause for concern. I think the main cause is that over the years, despite the increment in the rate, PRC, the collection of revenue is not, sufficient to meet the expenditure of the institution. And that is what is causing the problem. So over the years, they keep on increasing rate, but the revenue that is being generated is not enough to meet the expenditure of the institution. And that is where the focus has to be, that there are so many things that needs to be done. We need to look at the infrastructure. We may have obsolete equipment that we have to replace. We may have also production losses that we have to look at. And then we also look at the spectrum of people who are using and paying for these bills. And I think that when you bring everybody on board, it will, because revenue losses are a lot. And if the institution, ECG, Water, will come together and look at the losses, especially those who are using and are not paying, if we look at that and we close that gap, little increment can even generate enough revenue to meet the expenditure. And so for me, the focus should be on the production losses, the revenue losses as a result of people who are using the facility illegally that are not paying. When we look at it and we close that gap, this subsequent increment will not inure to the revenue losses, because it doesn't matter the rate that comes as we speak now, we will still not be able to meet the revenue target. And that is one of the concerns.
Grateful for your time. Peter Tekwe is a policy analyst, and he says that there should be a balance between the consumer, what the consumer gets, and what the cost of production also is, so that you can conveniently pass it on the consumer while the consumer gets value for money. Now, today marks exactly 9 years since the June 3 disaster. The day, which marked a black day in the history of Ghana, claimed the lives of 154 people and left many scared for their lives. The tragedy occurred after several hours of torrential rainfall in the capital city, Accra, during the downpour. Fuel leakage from the GoL station at Kwame Nkrumah Circle caught fire from a cigarette stop near the area, resulting in an explosion alongside the flood. The floods were attributed to blockage in Accra's main storm drains, resulting from the non-desilting of the drains, including buildings and structures by squatters that had blocked waterways. 9 years on, we'll explore the lessons learned. But first, let's bring back this report by my colleague, Maxwell Agbagba.
I had just arrived in front of the fuel station to arrange for my trip to Togo, where I buy wares to sell here in Ghana. Just as I was standing on the pavement in front of the market, the blast occurred. It was the intervention of some ladies who were standing on top of one of the buildings that saved me from being totally burnt. They were screaming, "Fire, fire!" And that was what made us quickly move away from the place. Even with that, I had been injured by the rush through the flood. I still have scars from that injury, but I'm grateful to God to be alive. It's been 9 years now, and though I live with painful memories of that June 3rd incident, I get comfort seeing that my scars are healed.
Right, we're still live on JoyNews Today. Now, popular Ghanaian movie actor Kwejo Nkansa Lil Wayne has been picked up by the Mensha Divisional Police MTTD in connection with a motor accident which claimed the life of a 3-year-old boy in Kumasi last week. He was picked up earlier today, shortly after his discharge from the hospital. The actor was spotted in a neck collar and wearing surgical bandages around his neck at the MTTD charge office, writing his statement. He was picked up at 6:30 this morning from the emergency unit of Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, where he was receiving treatment after a gory accident last week. The police division has confirmed arrangements to arraign him before court after taking his statement today. Clinton Yeboah is at the Zongo police station in Kumasi. He joins us with more. Clinton, what more can you report from the ground? Clinton Yeboah, if you can hear me, what more can you report from where you are?
All right, currently I'm not at the Zongo police station. The case has been referred to the regional police command, and what we have been told, or the engagement we have heard, indicates that the case has been referred to the legal and investigation unit, where the particular court that the actor will be trialed would be determined. But then it was a very distressing scene to see from the Mensha Divisional unit when the actor was arrested. You could see the bandages, surgical bandages around his head, which also indicates where he was picked from, which was at the emergency unit of Komfanoche Teaching Hospital. But the emergency and also the intensity of this case is why it has been referred from the Menchia Divisional Unit to the Regional Police Headquarters here in Kumasi.
Are they telling you? Have you been able to engage with his management, I mean Lil Wayne's management? Hello, Clinton.
All right, so one of the fascinating scenes to see at the Menchia Divisional Unit was that when the management trooped in, they attempted to enter the charging room to see the actor, but they were denied access to the actor, which left them in a certain distressful manner. But our conversation, my engagement with the leader of the fans and also management of Weezy Empire, who came at the premises of the police, according to the PRO, he says the lawyers of the actor are on the premises and engaging with the police, and so therefore every kind of engagement, every media engagement should come from the lawyers. And so he, according to him, he has no information as to what is going on, but he agreed of being denied access to the actor, and he referred us to have a conversation with the lawyers.
Were family members present?
Is that the actor is being arranged from... sorry, Aisha, could you...
Have you been able to speak with family members of Lil Wayne and the victim?
All right, currently we didn't cite any family member at the premises of the police, but earlier engagements we have had with the relatives indicates that there have been attempts by Lil Wayne's management to speak to the family, but the manner and the approach which the management went about, it's somehow something that the family describes as disrespectful and insulting, and so they are not going to engage the actor and his management. But I was able to also engage a family member who says they are willing and only hoping for justice to prevail.
Clinton Yeboah with that update from the Kumasi police station where the Lil Wayne has been referred. We'll bring you more in our subsequent bulletin. You can actually read more so on myjoyonline.com. Let's take a break. When we return, there's a very latest coming from the world of business.
Good afternoon. This is the business news on JoyNews Today with me, Pius Kojobaka. Deputy Managing Director of Tallow Ghana, Cynthia Lumo, has said that the partnership between the oil firm and Youth Bridge Foundation will establish a crucial network to provide young people with accelerated support through mentoring and essential skills training. She shared these insights at the launch of the Tallow Alumni Connect in Accra.
The launch of the Tallow Alumni Connect in Ghana showcases Tallow's enduring commitment to education and strengthens its partnership with the Youth Bridge Foundation. Deputy Managing Director of Tallow Ghana, Cynthia Lumo, stated that the network aims to reach 1,000 students each year.
Beneficiaries of the partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation are among some of the critical mass of emerging leaders in key sectors of the Ghanaian economy. One of the principal reasons for launching the Alumni Connect is to invite you, past scholars, in addition to beneficiaries of various Tallow tertiary scholarship projects, to become part of a community of alumni focused on supporting young people through mentoring and essential skills training. Ultimately, we aim to reach 1,000 students per year and link about 600 beneficiaries to employment opportunities through the network. It will initially be a one-year pilot, aligning with Tallow's community strategy of accelerating progress through partnerships.
Cynthia Lumo further emphasized Tallow's dedication to increasing investment in educational infrastructure.
A few years ago, Tallow made a commitment to invest $10 million in educational infrastructure over 5 years for 15 senior high schools in support of Ghana's education agenda. That was in addition to the scholarships that supported over 1,200 secondary students and over 1,000 tertiary students, scholarships of different kinds. But we know that there's more to be done, and we are not resting on our laurels.
A beneficiary of the scholarship program shared her positive experience.
This scholarship is more than a financial aid. It is a beacon of hope and a testament to your belief in the power of education and to transform life. Through your support, you ignite the potential within us so that we could overcome any obstacle. You empower us to reach far beyond what we think we are capable and to pay it forward, positively impact the life of others, for opening doors and lightening the path ahead.
The Tallow Alumni Connect is set to bridge the gap for positive youth development in Ghana.
The Ecowas brown card insurance has settled claims of over 3 million cedis in the last couple of years to accident victims in the sub-region. The scheme caters for citizens of Ecowas states who travel across the sub-region. Addressing the media at an enforcement exercise with the MTTD of the Ghana Police, General Secretary of the Ghana Bureau, Richard Ishen, called on motorists to insist on the collection of their Ecowas brown card insurance certificate whenever they purchase a motor insurance cover.
The Ecowas Brown Card Scheme seeks to ensure prompt and fair compensation to victims of motor accidents caused by non-resident motorists traveling to and from other Ecowas member states, resulting in death, injuries, and property damage. The purchase of a motor insurance policy in Ghana automatically includes the Brown Card Insurance Scheme. The protocol was adopted on May 29, 1982 in Cotonou, Benin, to mark the 42nd anniversary of the scheme. The Ghana Secretariat organized an enforcement exercise with the Motor Traffic and Transport Unit of the Ghana Police Service on transit vehicles from the Ecowas sub-region. Speaking to the media, the General Secretary of the Ghana Bureau, Richard Ishen, charged motorists to insist on collecting their Ecowas Brown Card insurance certificates.
In Ghana, when you buy your auto insurance policy, you have also paid for the Ecowas Brown Card insurance. That means that if you buy your motor insurance policy, you have to insist on the insurance company to take your motor Ecowas Brown Card certificate. And this will allow you to travel to the neighboring countries, or the West African countries. They are 14 it. Or if you go there and there's any accident, this is the insurance that will cover you.
Regarding claims payment, he noted that the scheme has paid over 3 million cedis in claims to victims.
If you look behind you, you see all the Burkina trucks. As a matter of a couple of weeks ago, we were in Burkina Faso, and we settled claims over 150 million CFA, which is about 3 million Ghana cedis. You understand? So I would say this has been very successful, and it complements the objective of ECOWAS. You know, the objective of ECOWAS is to economic integration and promote free movements of goods and services, persons. And
that's it for business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Sports is next. Let's do sports now on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, Black Stars forward Antoine Semenyo has expressed his optimism about Ghana's chances against Mali and the Central African Republic in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Ghana currently occupy the 4th position in Group I, having won one of their first 2 matches. Now, winning the next 2 games is crucial for boosting the country's quest to qualify for the global tournament in 2026. Now, Semenyo, who has scored 8 goals and provided 2 assists in the Premier League, remains determined to help Ghana achieve positive results.
I got the goals that I wanted. I feel like as a team we've done really well, so I think it's just planning for the next season ahead really. So obviously I'm focused on the games here, make sure we win and then get ready for a new season. I always feel good. I think we're ready to take the challenge, ready to get 2 wins. I think we've got a good team, like I said, so yeah, we just need to win at the end of the day, so we're going to train hard this week and hopefully the second. I mean, it's in the past now. I think the manager's come in, we've got a new job, a new plan, and we just want to win games. So we're trusting what the manager can do. We've got a good team, so yeah, it's just trusting the process, and hopefully we get qualified for the AFCON again, World Cup, and we can show you what we can do.
Personally for you, what is your expectations for these 2 games you have to play?
I mean, I want to score in both games, if I'm honest. I mean, as a striker, you want to score. So score goals and then help the team get forward up the pitch. So yeah, that's all for me. To continue, I know we've got him on a full-term basis now. So we just have to trust him, trust the time that he's got with us, and hopefully we can win games and conquer Africa again.
And that's how we end the sports segment on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak.
Time now, check out what's making headlines elsewhere. Claudia Sheinbaum has been elected as Mexico's first woman president in an historic landslide win. Mexico's official electoral authority said preliminary results show the 61-year-old former mayor of Mexico City winning between 58% and 60% of the votes in Sunday's election. That gives her a lead of about 30 percentage points over her main rival. Ms. Sheinbaum will replace her mentor, outgoing President Andrés Manuel López, on October 1. Ms. Sheinbaum, a former energy scientist, has promised continuity, saying that she will continue to build on the advances made by Mr. López Obrador, further building on the welfare programs which have made the outgoing president very popular. That does it for World News. Up next is Showbiz.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline and Suma Yebwa. Now, Ghanaian dance duo Afronita and Abigail danced their way to 3rd place in the thrilling finale of the 2024 Britain's Got Talent, electrifying the audience with their vibrant performances. Despite falling short of the ultimate prize, they left an indelible mark on the global stage, waving the flag of Ghana and Africa high. The grand finale of Britain's Got Talent, held on Sunday, June 2nd, 2024, showcased 10 outstanding acts vying for the coveted title. Ghanaian dancers Afronita and Abigail wowed the crowd with an electrifying performance, dazzling in bright Ghanaian colors. I don't really care if you feel inside. It's a party, go get your drink up. Tell the DJ we wanna replay. Lord have mercy, ready and body not easy. Boy, get busy. It don't matter if you're cheesy. Throw your hands up, forget your makeup. I don't really care if you feel inside. It's a party, go get your drink up. Tell the DJ we wanna replay. 9 to 5. Too tired, I can go. Yeah, you're ready. I'm ready.
We've all turned into Bruno. We're standing. I feel like I need to stand to talk to you, just to tell you from the heart how much I love you, how much I've enjoyed you on this series. Every time you've been up there, you have been shining in all your glory. Ghana energy. You are incredible.
Our entire audience have fallen in love with you two. Genuinely. And you know what I did the other day? I replayed your performance and I turned the volume down because I wanted to feel what it was like to do this without listening to the music. And it was the most unbelievable feeling, knowing that you're so good and you do this without being able to hear the music properly. After after that performance and everything that you've done throughout the competition, you've really given yourselves a shot of winning this.
Although they missed out on the top prize, placing third in the 17th season of Britain's Got Talent is still a remarkable achievement for the African duo on such a prestigious platform.
The third placed act in Britain's Got Talent 2024 is Abigail and Afronita. Congratulations on third place this year. What would you like to say to everybody who supported you?
Ultimately, Sydney Christmas clinched the top prize, with Jack Rhodes coming in second and dancers Abigail and Afronita securing third place. The winner of the 17th edition of BGT walks away with a £250,000 cash prize and the honor of performing at the Royal Variety Performance. Afronita and Abigail have shown the world that passion, talent, and determination can elevate you to greater heights. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansama Yopua. Well, congratulations to them. Away from that, the 25th edition of the Tallow Ghana Music Awards ended on a high note with Stonebwoy being crowned as the Artist of the Year for 2024. Highlight fans were treated to a nostalgic evening as the legendary Amachidede rocked the stage and delivered a well-timed and received a well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award for his extraordinary contributions to the Ghanaian music. The night was nothing short of spectacular at the TGMAs as patrons thronged the AICC to witness a celebration of musical excellence. During this year's award ceremony, Amachidede was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award for his remarkable contributions to the industry over 5 decades. Amachidede's musical journey began when he joined Kumapem Royals, a renowned high-life band led by Akwesi Ampofo-Adjei as a composer and a vocalist. He later formed his own music group, the Apollo High Kings, known for delivering numerous high-life hits throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Members of the youthful music generation in Ghana paid tribute to the legend by performing some of his timeless hit tracks, showcasing the artist's enduring magnificence. Kobna Kobna kicked off the performance with Amachidede's Kanyamaya Chiremi. Eno Baroni and Akabwa followed with the master performance of Sufra Unyami.
Only Jah knows when the time is right. Only Jah knows how I win the fight. Only Jah knows how I live my life. And only Jah knows when I could die.
On that note, is a wrap for the showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline and Sama Yabwa. Over to you, Aisha.
Congratulations to Stonebwoy. Yes. And congratulations especially to Abigail and Afronita. I love those two. Thank you for bringing us showbiz. That'll be it for the bulletin. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 2.
Courtroom.